I decided I have a title. It is Early Adopter, Late Bloomer. Maybe very late bloomer. So first, the early adopter. I'm telling you my story here. So the reason I say I am an early adopter is I had to take a screenshot with my new iPad of my old iPad because my old iPad doesn't have a camera. So I also decided not to bring it with me because it's heavy. That the iPad just became a part of my life in the sense of what I wanted to use it for. I'm a news junkie, so I mean constant news, anytime, day or night, right there. So it would be the last thing I looked at every night. So remember when you were raising children or possibly babysitting, etc.? This was the last thing that you had every night to be acquainted with. And every night you read, "Good night, moon." Yes, okay, you get it. So the next year for Christmas, this is what I got. Yes, I really do own this book. And so that was kind of my initiation to the iPad. I guess what I didn't realize or didn't really think about is anything else I could do with it other than what I wanted to do for my own interest. So I was using the Kindle function, and I was reading news at all the news sites, and I was listening to TED Talks and doing a lot of things with it. But I didn't realize that there might be more. And I started realizing there might be more, thanks to Ed and thanks to Barb, because that's when I took the iPad class on Fridays and then did the instruction as well. The other thing I do with my iPad, once I got an iPad that took pictures, was take a lot of pictures. And so I used up all the storage taking pictures at the retreat last year. And I started taking videos, here it's snowing because my son lives in Mexico and I wanted to, rub it in. Here we are in the cold, that sort of thing. And I just started doing things in general with taking lots of pictures and videos. But I also took pictures and videos of students. So this is just a really short clip, but I got this idea that I should have students do things that were technologically oriented and interactive for the final review for the final exam. So, all right, so I just wanted to mention a few things that I learned about that turned out to be, because you kind of advertise this as just-in-time learning, and it turned out to be really just in time for me because last summer I had all these boxes to go through in my basement, and they were filled with notes that I had taken at different meetings and events because I'm kind of a compulsive note taker. I think it actually keeps me focused. So, Evernote. I don't have to say, do I have my notes from the last meeting? I just take my iPad and do this. So this was really a big boon to me. Dragon dictation. I still haven't found a good app that I like to do a quick memo recorded. I'm still kind of searching for that, but sometimes I'll just get an idea for an activity in class, and I'll just say it into my iPad, Dragon dictation, and then I can convert it to a Word file easily, and so I've been using that sort of thing. Recordium. I like this because sometimes I'm in a meeting and somebody will start getting at the crux of something or how to word something, and in the past I've always just tried to take notes, and now I just hit Recordium, and then it's right there, and then we can look back at what was said. Dropbox. Well, I wouldn't have been able to access a schedule when I was doing tutoring at UTC this semester unless I knew how to get my schedule out of Dropbox. So I thought, wow, all this stuff is kind of coming together because people are using this technology. This one really helped me. We did some work with it at the retreat last year, but I was on the presidential task force for Division 2 of the American Psychological Association, which is the teaching of psychology, and I think I was working generally with much younger colleagues. I don't know what they look like because it was all virtual, but what they wanted to do, we were doing a white paper on the use of pedagogy as a technique for teaching psychology, so use of story. So what they wanted to do was use Google Plus for us to find research to put up there so that everybody could read it, and then also so we could comment, and then so that we could do editing on the paper. And I thought, wow, just in time, because that would have been like, Google Plus, what the heck is that? So I had just enough knowledge to be able to hold my own on that. And then Skyping, well, this was kind of silly. I had been Skyping with my son, but I'd always used the desktop, and I didn't realize I could just lie there in bed and like that. Go, hey, how's it doing, Guadalajara? So these are small things, but for me, they were significant ways of doing things. And it's a map of the world that allows you to go to different locations, and it's got landmarks, but it also has information. And so I like to talk about in my psychology classes where some of these people came from, that Freud started off in Austria, had to leave because of the Holocaust that was starting to happen in Germany, and then goes to London. And I just like to be able to give people a context. Also, I have lots of international students, and it's kind of cool to be able to show, you know, the country, that sort of thing. So, but the thing that I was introduced to recently by Barb and Ed that I really like is Nearpod. So I'd like to show you my Nearpod review presentation on classical conditioning. Nearpod is a presentation platform, I guess that would be the terminology, that is really cool in that it allows you to integrate a lot of different interactive techniques within the platform. And that's what I really like about it, and I'm very jazzed on this, and I'm looking forward to spending time this summer, because now I've got lots of ideas, because I feel like this is, it's like Dorothy, I'm home, you know, I feel like I can do this. So anyway, you actually set up your presentation, and then you click on live session to make it go live, and then you get a PIN number. So if you'd like to play along, that's our PIN. So what I do is tell them how Ivan Pavlov was looking at salivation of dogs to see how that worked on the digestive processes, and became intrigued with the idea that the dogs would start salivating before they even got the food. So then I say, you know, that we're going to duplicate that today, sparing no expense. So I bring out this, and believe it or not, this is the most popular interactive technique that I use. They always, at the end of the semester, we have them comment, what was your most memorable moment in the class we have on our final exam? And guess what they say? When we conditioned the dog to salivate. So basically I just say, okay, what we're going to do, ring the bell, give the dog food. What's the dog going to do? Salivate. So we do this several times. I do it quickly, and they say salivate. So then we condition the dog. So then I say, remember this, because then we go to the terms. The terms give math shock. So what I've just done is put in PowerPoints right off of their text, as you can see, to explain the terms. And then what you should be able to do now, looking on your screen, is you will see some letters, correct? Yes. UCS, UCR, NS.
No, you have to.
You have to scroll up or down.
Yeah.
Oh. This is a drawing function in Nearpod. If you have an iPad, it does work better than if you have a cell phone. Yeah. But what you can do right now is draw something. So we're going to cheat, and I'm going to tell you that the food is the unconditioned stimulus. So you can either draw a picture, or you can put food there. You can put anything you like. I just want to give you an idea of what it looks like from my perspective, and then what it's going to look like from yours. So if one of you will submit your drawing, then we'll be able to see what it looks like from here. So you see what you have as the instructor. You have all of these, and then you can pick what you want to look at. Thank you, Emerald. So we're going to now look at Emerald's drawing. Couldn't have done it better. So you might think of some ways of applying that function to your oh, good. I got the dog down here too. Some of these are really cute, and you'll find out who does animation well. That's what I found out in my class. Some of the people wanted to be animators, and I looked at their stuff and thought, no wonder. All right, so then I've just reinforced this whole idea with a couple of PowerPoints. This is cool because you can link directly to the video that you want to use to show this again. So the video emphasizes, it has some original footage, of Pavlov, and it shows a little animation with the dog. So it's another modality for the students. Then what I can do is ask you a question. So you should see a question now that says the amount of saliva the dog produces after you've conditioned it to salivate to the bell is, and then you have some choices here. Now, obviously you can pick mute at any time. I'm just showing you this so that you can get an idea of what you would see as the instructor as well. That's just another question using the same technique. Couldn't get the... All right, so try to put audio in here. Had a little problem with putting audio in there, so if somebody can instruct me on that, that would be good. But
she wanted the dinosaur to roar.
I did. But you know what? Since we didn't have it roaring, I just said, okay, everybody roar, and they all roared. So, hey, that's interactive. They enjoyed it. I have them do things like that all the time. All right, so then I have a video in here, an introduction to Watson and a connection to the video that I like to use for Watson. Then they do the same kind of thing, drawing that paradigm, only using Watson's idea, and here's just a little reinforcement of that. Mm-hmm. And then I ask them a true-false, so you can use the polling technique for multiple choice, for open responses, or for true and false. And then, of course, you have the drawing function as well. I just reinforced it with a slide. This is really, from their book. I want to get a little that brings up the whole idea of ethics. Got ethics, got milk, yeah, so that's a discussion there. And then what it also allows me to do, because I can link to websites, is everyone always wants to know if you remember little Albert was terrorized by John Watson, who conditioned him to be afraid of a white rat and anything furry, actually. So then I can use popcorn reading, which I learned from Margot. We go to the article, and they can each read a paragraph about what we think actually happened to little Albert. Okay. So then I just have a multiple choice quiz in here. So can you see? Yeah, some of you are already doing it. So you can enter multiple choice items in here. Now, obviously, you would have it on pick mute so that they couldn't see what people were scoring, but you could, in fact, go for your pie chart, and I could go for the little wheel over there. I got one wrong. And then you can go to records at the end and get who did what. But at least this way, it'll give you an idea of whether students are comprehending or what you need to do. I've really had fun, and I'm really looking forward now. I feel like I've turned a corner here from the point of, oh, this is just too much for me, I can't do this, and now I'm feeling like, yeah, this is pretty cool, and I think I can do it, and that's been a big change for me. And so now I'm feeling excited about